Yes, we sincerely apologize for that quick technical break we had to take. If you're just joining, this is Stoke Sport here on Global Television. I am Samuel Odi. Now let's get right into the conversation and capture as much as we can within the little time frame we have. CAF unveils Flamengo 2026 World Cup path. The Confederation of African Football has unveiled Nigerians' route to the 2026 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup following the draw for the African qualifiers held in Rabat, Morocco. Nigerians on the 17 women's team, the Flamingos, will enter the qualification campaign at the second round stage, where they are scheduled to face the winner of the preliminary tie between Niger and Guinea. The first leg of the encounter is set to take place between May the 22nd and the 24th, with the return leg feature for May the 29th to the 31st. Should the Flamingos successfully scale that hurdle, they will advance to the third round of the qualifiers, with matches penciled in for early July. The first leg of their third round will be played between July the 3rd and 5th, while the second leg is scheduled to be played between July 10th to the 11th. As the race intensifies for Africans' limited slot at the global tournament, the draw confirmed that Nigeria were granted a bye to the third round, reflecting their pedigree at this level, while the second round will feature a series of features across the continent involving teams such as Burkina Faso, Benin Republic, Tunisia, Senegal, Algeria, Cameroon, Togo, South Africa, against other Central African Republic. So looking at this now, there will be lots of actions that will be coming up in the second and the third round of these preliminary stages of the qualifiers for African teams on the 17 African female teams. It shows that Nigeria has been listed as one of the favorites to be able to scale this hurdle without challenges. So we will see how all of this pans out, and again in the next couple of months we'll be seeing all these actions taking place. So moving on now, if you remember, just last week we had conversations around the fact that MPFL officials really did not get from match day 8 bonuses that they officiated for. So now the MPFL referees now are out to tell us that they've gotten part payment of their own unpaid allowances. Match officials in the Nigerian Premier Football League have confirmed receipt of their unpaid match bonuses for officiating in the Nigerian top flight ahead of the second stanza of the 2025-2026 season. Officials include referees, match commissioners, and referee associates who were also owed allowances for about 11 match days before the league went on its mid-season break in December 2025. Report gathered says payments to match referees and match commissioners stalled after match day 8, but some referees who were involved in match day 9 and 10 have confirmed receipt of their allowance, as outstanding payments are expected to be completed before the start of the second stanza on Wednesday this week. Some of the affected officials who spoke on condition of not wanting to disclose their identity says that their basic allowance per match ranges from 60,000 to 90,000 naira, aside from hotel and transport allowance. So looking at this now, though there was a 40% increase from 2 years ago now, with inflation and the cost of living, I think the NFF and also officials in charge, GIT, partners in charge of that are partnering in the Nigerian Professional Football League, need to also look into their salaries as well and see how they can be able to improve all of these bonuses for these officials based on the current realities we're facing here as a country economically. So we'll see how all of this will pan out for these individuals. Moving on, Ricky Torres part ways with 4 players. Yes, ahead of the coming season, each team is looking to strengthen his or their squad, basically to contend for the Nigerian Professional Football League title properly. Ricky Torres Football Club has announced a mutual separation from 4 players as preparation intensifies for the second half of the 2025-2026 season, Nigerian Premier Football League season, of course. The players released are forward Luis Dango, left back Philip David Johnson, centre back Edward Lawrence Abbo, and midfielder Uche Okonsochukwu. And also, according to the club, the decision forms part of the broader plan to refresh the squad and strengthen the team ahead of the crucial second phase of the season. The management believe the move will create room for new additions as the Bauchi-based side push forward with renewed focus and ambition to advance Wiki Tourist forwarded, and also Wiki Tourist expressed appreciation to the departing players for their commitment and professionalism during their time at the club, wishing them success in their future careers. So looking at it now, like I said, this is the month of January, not just locally, internationally too. We're seeing lots of moves happening. Even one shocking trade happened in the world of basketball in the NBA. We'll bring you that story quickly, and as teams are getting set and strengthening themselves ahead of the competitions that will be coming up later on in the month and also in the year as the season is getting set to wrap up. So now let's talk Kano Pillars quickly, still talking about Nigerian Premier Football League. Kano Pillars boost attack with Ovoke. Kano Pillars have bolstered their attacking options with the signing of experienced winger Bernard Ovoke, who has joined the club until the end of the current season. The agreement also includes an option to extend the contract by a further year, underlining the club's confidence in the winger's ability to make an immediate and lasting impact for the team. Known for his pace, tricky and a direct approach on the wings, Ovoke is expected to add creativity and went to the team's play as the season intensifies. Club officials believe his arrival will bring fresh energy to the flank and provide additional attacking threat as the team pushes for its objective. Ovoke has been warmly welcomed into the fold and is already looking forward to donning the famous Sani Abacha Sani Musa Gidan Ghana Stadium and thrilling supporters. So we'll see how it will look like. Looking at it now before the season, the first break came, that's the end of the first stanza. We saw Kano Pillars struggling. So with this inclusion now in their squad, we will see how much depth they would have and how these teams will be able to manage properly. So now let's move away from Nigerian League. Let's advance to Africa at large as we talk AFCON 2025. Super Eagles to arrive Rabat later today for Morocco showdown. The Super Eagles are getting set to arrive Rabat today ahead of their Wednesday clash against the host nation Morocco in the semi-finals to book a place for the finals of the 2025 African Cup of Nations. The Super Eagles will depart first for Rabat later today ahead of their 2025 African Cup of All Nations semi-final encounter with Morocco. Wednesday's last four tie will hold at the Santade Hassan Stadium in Rabat. The players and their officials return to Marrakesh on Sunday following the quarterfinal 2-0 win over Desert Fox of Algeria. They held a recovery season at the Santander Football Complex phase after arriving in Marrakesh. The Super Eagles will now make the trip to Rabat and later today, according to the report reaching us. Eric Chile's side will have their training section before the clash with Morocco tonight, and also they will train in the morning as well, according to reports, on Tuesday, and then do a little bit of physio on Tuesday evening to keep their body fresh a bit for their matchup on Wednesday against the host nation Cameroon. We are going to have more depth conversation around that a little bit later, but from the look of things now, the squad and the depth of the Super Eagles is looking very, very good, and the same team that Eric Childe used for Mozambique was the same thing he used for Algeria. There was no rotation, and again we are saying that these players have understood themselves, and then the chemistry keeps building over and over again. I'll definitely still bring you the highlights of that matchup between Nigeria and Algeria. We saw a beautiful performance from the defense to the midfield and also to the attack, and someone that stood out for me exceptionally well was Alex Iwobi. The kind of passes Alex Iwobi gave in that matchup was just beyond comprehension. How he was able to manage and pick out all of those passes was just, mind-blowing to me, because it seemed as if I was watching Zinedine Zidane, Xavi, Iniesta, and also Iniesta and Xavi, rather, all in Alex Iwobi's body, because those passes were just of mind-blowing, and it was just very, very beautiful to see how consistent Alex Iwobi has been since the opening of AFCON 2025. So we'll see how all of this pan out as they get themselves ready. But still talking AFCON, Super Eagles have received injury boost ahead of Morocco clash. Yes, you all saw that Wilfred Ndidi at some point was substituted out due to injury. But now the news is saying that the Nigerian national team has received some good news about their players' fitness as they get ready for their semi-final match in the 2025 African Cup of All Nations. Good news has become about injury. Defender Ryan and also team captain Wilfred Ndidi, according to reports from the Super Eagles camp, says it is improving and moving towards his full recovery. The defender is still following a planned recovery program, and his physical condition is getting better. The medical staffs are keeping a close eye on his condition as he works to get back to full fitness ahead of the semi-final game against Morocco. Ndidi, on the other hand, is also getting better after hurting his hamstring during the game against Algeria. The midfielder is now walking without pain, which suggests the injury might not be as bad as the first thought. Even though Ndidi has improved, he cannot play in the semi-final match against Morocco because he got booked in an early part of the tournament. The Super Eagles want to keep their perfect record in the 2025 African Cup of All Nations as they play against the host team, Morocco, on Wednesday, January the 14th, in hopes to making it to the final. So, looking at this team and this depth, this is the only injury concern we are having. Wilfred Ndidi and Brian rather. These two individuals are just the only concerns we have. But we have, Dele Bashiru also, who can step in and also cover up that number 4 position, so that Wilfred Ndidi can also be very free to continue dishing out all those, for him to get into his creative zone. You all have heard Alex Iwobi sing. So when he plays at number 8 and number 10 position, I think he gets into his creative zone where he gets to pick passes that a whole lot of people can't even see. So those are just what we expect and we want to keep seeing from Alex Iwobi. So now we'll expect to see probably Dele Bashiru will drop down to the number 4 position, and then we'll pair with Frank Onyedika, or we'll have Raphael Onyedika also, who can just also play that same number 4 position with Frank Onyedika, so that we can see Alex Iwobi continue with his team of distributing passes that we even don't yet to see. So we'll see how all of this pan out, and then we'll definitely bring you more updates on the injury concerns within the team of Super Eagles. So another interesting thing happened again. Victor Osimhen powers Eagles to AFCON against host Morocco rather. Looking at this, Victor Osimhen produced a commanding display as Nigeria defeated Algeria 2-0 to reach the semi-finals of the African Cup of Nations 2025 in Morocco, sealing a historic quarter-final victory at the Stade Marrakesh Stadium, extended the Super Eagles' remark run at the tournament. The win marked Nigerians' first ever last 8 triumph over Algeria as the African Cup of All Nations finals, and ensured they became champions of 5 successive matches at a single edition of the competition for the first time in their history. It also served as long-awaited redemption for Super Eagles, who were eliminated by the Fox in a dramatic fashion at the semi-final stage in 2019. After an intense and fiercely contested first half, Nigeria struck decisively early in the second period, just 2 minutes after the reset. Osimhen rose unmarked in the 6-yard box to power home a close-range header from Bruno Onyemaechi, delivering, finally breaking Algeria's resistance and sending the sizable support into Nigerian team into celebration. And then Victor Osimhen finally got his own trophy of man of the match. Alex Iwobi has, Ademola Lookman has one, he has 2 actually, and then the next person I'm actually expecting to get to win that is Alex Iwobi, because Alex Iwobi has been very spectacular. And also Kelvin Bassey, I'm hoping Kelvin Bassey gets a goal, and I wish he gets a goal in our next matchup, because he came very close within the when we played against Algeria, but it was cleared off on the line at the nick of time. The Algerian defender was able to clear off the ball, and then that would have been a goal for Calvin Bassey. But we will see how that will pan out. And another man that I want to win a very good trophy in this competition, aside winning the AFCON, is Alex Iwobi. Maybe player of the tournament or best midfielder of the tournament, or something. He deserves a trophy based on his performance that we have witnessed, and I'm sure you all agree with me on that. So quickly, let's talk transfer, as Inter Milan is eyeing Inter Milan eyes Calvin Bassey in this January transfer. Inter Milan are monitoring a potential move for Fulham defender Calvin Bassey, with the Nigerian international attracting growing interest from Serie A during his January transfer window. Bassey appears on the radar of the Italian club as they continue their search for reinforcements in defense, with the club targeting a left-footed central defender alongside plans to strengthen at right wing back. So the report says Fulham have no intention of allowing the 26-year-old to leave midway through the season, stressing that he remains critical and central to their defensive plan and the development of the team. That's in transfer talks now, and Bassey and his agents have not responded to this for us to know if there will be a chance for him to make that run to Inter Milan. So still back to AFCON now quickly. Why Salah needs to win a trophy. This is coming from Nigerian legend JJ Okocha and Mikel Obi. Legendary former Nigerian midfielder Austin JJ Okocha and John Obi Mikel has revealed that significance of Egypt's Mo Salah securing African Cup of All Nations title in his career. Despite his impressive accolades, including winning the Premier League and Champions League titles, Salah has yet to lift an AFCON trophy in his career. However, as the Pharaohs of Egypt prepare for their semi-final clash against Senegal in Morocco Wednesday, Okocha and Obi weighed in on the importance of the tournament for the Liverpool winger. In a decision, Obi said Salah will be looking to get his head on AFCON because he hasn't won it yet. Okocha added this, saying, "In Africa, you might win whatever trophy with your club. If you don't win anything for your nation, they don't regard you as legend," which is actually fast. This is coming from two individuals who have won all the trophy they can win, and also they get to secure the bag and win a trophy for Nigeria. The only trophy that these two individuals speaking haven't won is the World Cup, and then they are actually in a very good position to let Salah know the importance of winning the African Cup of All Nations trophy as an African individual that he is. And then people like Jimmy Carragher would be coming out to have conversation and said he hasn't done anything for Egypt, but he has done so much for Liverpool. So Salah definitely understands this. Still talking Salah weary of Senegal ahead of semi-final showdown. You all remember what happened when Senegal and Egypt met in the final. Senegal were victorious for the night, and then they defeated and won the 2019 African Cup of All Nations. Now, I'm certain that Egypt will be looking for redemption, or they will be fighting so hard to knock, Senegal down, and also Senegal would want to prove a point because they have a very depth squad. So looking at it now, Egypt's talisman Mo Salah has expressed caution over Senegal's strong contingent of European-based players ahead of the 2025 African Cup of Nations semi-final clash on Wednesday, which will be coming up 5 p.m. Nigerian time. Egypt edged defending champions Ivory Coast 3-2 in the quarterfinals on Saturday, and will now face Senegal for a place in the final in a repeat of the 2021 AFCON final. Salah and his teammate lost their final 4-2 on penalties after a goalless draw at the Olumbe Stadium in Yaoundé, Cameroon. The Pharaohs are the most successful nation in AFCON history with 7 titles, but they have not lifted the trophy since 2010, losing the final of the 2017 and also the 2021 edition. So now Salah is looking for redemption for himself and the country. So now let me bring you quick highlights of the game between Super Eagles of Nigeria and Algeria, as the Super Eagles defeated Algeria 2-0, and also the highlight between Egypt and Ivory Coast, as Egypt defeated them 3-2. Here are the highlights.